An underrated difference maker. Nobody's talking about what this guy can do. Why not Anthony Richardson? I'm kicking myself.
We talked about him yesterday as one of the kind of intriguing
Oh my
players,
gosh, and why
storylines
not?
heading into this year, you know.
And apparently the way he looks, they are
Like a Jalen Hurts type
jacked
breakout.
up.
Yeah.
Optimism and excitement are at an all-time high for Colts fans. The team is coming off a season in which they almost made the playoffs without their quarterback and starting running back for most of the year. Shane Steichen, in his first year in charge, managed the situation perfectly and put on a coaching masterclass to keep his team competitive on a weekly basis. Now, with a full-strength unit led by one of the most athletically gifted quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen, the sky really is the limit. Forget the Texans. It's the Colts' turn to shock the NFL. The excitement surrounding Anthony Richardson's first few games in the league was cruelly taken away by a season-ending shoulder injury that appeared to doom the Indianapolis Colts to mediocrity. Despite completing just 2 full games in 2023, he showed glimpses of the special talent that had made him such a high draft pick. Standing at 6'4" and weighing 244 pounds, Richardson earned the freak label after running a 4.43 40-yard dash at the combine. That freakish ability materialized early and often as he put several smart throws on tape and thundered past defenders for first downs. It is a far from ideal sample size to go off, but Colts fans can take comfort in the fact that he looked composed and mature when under center in his first taste of NFL action. Across these games, Richardson posted 577 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, whilst also rushing for 136 yards and 4 more touchdowns on the ground. Yes, the Colts will want to see his 59.5% completion rate tick up, and for him to get through 2 consecutive games without an injury, but it's impossible to not get sucked into the hype. The real asset of his game is his rushing ability.
Anthony Richardson and the talent that he has, we all can see that there really is no ceiling for someone like him. The way he can run the football, what he means in the pass game, that's an elite level throw.
They need him to stay healthy. Their offense and what they want to do and his skill set, well, it takes them to another level with Shane Steichen's game planning and how he can orchestrate stuff like that. And Anthony Richardson, with his ability to stay healthy and on the field and his ability to run, not only with the quarterback design run plays, but the scrambles and all that, it opens up their offense.
His impressive arm means that he can unleash bombs to the deepest pockets of the field, but it is the danger he poses in the read option game and as a power runner that will really scare defenses, especially when you consider that the other runner they have to account for is Jonathan Taylor. The dynamic duo could be unstoppable on the ground, which is only going to make life easier for Richardson as he develops as a passer. As an added bonus, the Colts have stacked the wide receiver room with a very enticing array of weapons. Michael Pittman enjoyed a stellar 2023 campaign in which he posted career highs with 109 receptions and 1,152 yards. For his efforts, the talented possession receiver was rewarded with a 3-year, $70 million contract that confirms his status as Richardson's primary target throughout the early stages of his career. Another go-to guy for Richardson will be Josh Downs, who entered the NFL in the same draft class. Downs quickly got to grips with life in the NFL and collected a very useful 771 yards as a rookie, with Gardner Minshew as his quarterback for most of the season. Separation is the name of the game for Downs, making him another perfect weapon for his fellow sophomore Richardson. Between Downs and Pittman, there should always be someone free to move the chains. It isn't just the short and intermediate passing game that the Colts front office has catered for, though, also finding immense value in the form of Adonai Mitchell in the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Mitchell is a very exciting combination of size and speed, with the route running chops to suggest that a future as an X-receiver could be on the cards.
Mitchell's a dynamic football player, good releases, love his routes. The more deep dive I do, the more and more I keep loving to see what he can bring to the table. An XY receiver, excellent route runner, outside threat for sure. His speed is impressive, and the more and more I watch his film, the more and more I believe he's moving up.
It is a very exciting collection of playmakers for the sophomore quarterback to work with the added presence of Jonathan Taylor and a daunting run game sure to cause defensive coordinators plenty of headaches. Taylor burst onto the scene in style in 2020, registering 1,169 yards and 11 touchdowns before going nuclear in 2021 to the tune of 1,811 yards and 18 touchdowns. Injuries and contract disputes have meant that we haven't seen that version of Taylor since, but even in reduced game time, he has still churned out at least 741 yards in each of the last 2 campaigns. With him now entering the season fully healthy and happy with his new contract, the Colts have one of the league's most dangerous running backs lining up next to Richardson. when you consider that Richardson may well be the league's most dangerous rushing quarterback, provided he can prove he can stay healthy. This is a backfield that not many can rival. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in Baltimore are the only two that come close. Who would you take? What makes the Richardson and Taylor combination even more mouthwatering, or terrifying depending on your allegiance, is the Colts' offensive line. Pro Football Focus ranked them as the third best in the NFL, and you can understand why. Bernhard Raimann took a big step forward in his second season in the NFL, giving up just 4 sacks on over 1,000 snaps played and generally proving sturdy as a pass and run blocker. He's looking like an incredible value pick after going in the 3rd round 2 years ago, partnering up with the right tackle Braden Smith to give Richardson one of the best tackle duos in the NFL. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Will Fries then form a sturdy interior to round out a very talented unit that will set Indy up for success in 2024 and beyond. Health will be the key, and the big question that Richardson needs to answer, but this offensive line will go a long way towards helping that. There really is a lot to be excited about for Colts fans. One of the primary reasons for optimism is the presence of head coach Shane Steichen. He continued his impressive career trajectory by almost propelling the Colts to the playoffs in his first year in charge, despite not having his starting quarterback and running back for much of the season. It was a fantastic start to life in Indianapolis for him, instantly proving that he was the right man for the job. You only have to look at what happened to Philadelphia's offense to see what an impact his presence makes. Steichen adopted a Philly side that was 26th in points per game in 2020, elevating them to the 2nd highest scoring team in the league in 2022. That campaign was the highlight of his stint in Philadelphia, with his offense leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl appearance and him nurturing Jalen Hurts into a quarterback who's 2nd in MVP voting. With Richardson offering a similar skill set, Colts fans have got to be excited about what Steichen can do for their young QB. When you factor in the way in which Philadelphia's offense crumbled without Steichen last year, it is clear what a fantastic effect he has on a locker room. The guy knows how to run an offense, and he showed it in Indianapolis in 2023. His primary achievement was getting competent quarterback play out of Gardner Minshew, who has proven several times before that he is not starting caliber. He did this through his clever play designs and use of motions, easily scheming open targets for Minshew to hit. Steichen would often send his receivers in motion before the snap, sometimes dropping them into the backfield before they drift easily into wide open gaps in the defense. He's a master of putting strain on the opposing defenders, and that skill will be turbocharged with the presence of one of the most imposing dual threat athletes the NFL has ever seen at quarterback. Of course, it isn't just the offense that fans should be excited about. It was the defense that needed improving the most, which is why general manager Chris Ballard couldn't believe his luck when Laiatu Latu fell into his lap at pick 15. For many, Latu was the best pass rusher in the draft, entering the league as one of the most pro-ready prospects in the class.
To put into context where he is, his pass rushing profile is better than Aiden Hutchinson's was coming out. It's better than Will Anderson's was coming out. And those guys have become Pro Bowl, fringe, all-pro type of players. He's closer to the Bosa's and the Myles Garrett's than he was those two guys. So
he joined a defensive line that had some success last year, with Samson Ebukam, Kwity Paye, and Dayo Odengbo all registering more than 8 sacks from the edge. Unfortunately, Ebukam has already been ruled out for the season because of a torn Achilles, but that will at least create more opportunities for Latu in 2024. Their work is made easier by the presence of one of the best defensive tackles in the league in DeForest Buckner, who also notched himself 8 sacks. Collectively, the Colts' 51 sacks were 5th most in the NFL, and that unit is significantly stronger with Latu out of the building. He has lots of mentors to show him the ropes, so don't be surprised to see a big year from the 15th overall pick. Another important player along the defensive line is Grover Stewart, who is one half of the imposing defensive tackle pairing alongside Buckner. The team's top run defender recently inked a new 3-year extension, solidifying his spot in the center of the defensive line for the next few years. He is a thick boy who uses his frame to dominate on the line of scrimmage, and despite playing in just 11 games in 2023, he tallied 41 tackles and 5 tackles for loss. To emphasize the impact that he has on the team, we just have to look at the statistical split with him on the field and off the field. In weeks 1 to 6, Indy gave up just 3.7 yards per carry, which was 9th best in the NFL. In weeks 7 to 13, while Stewart was injured, they conceded 4.8 yards per carry, which was 31st in the NFL. When he returned, so did their run stuffing ability, as they closed out the season giving up just 3.6 yards per carry, 4th best in the NFL. With him dominating in the run game and Buckner and the edge defenders proving to be a menace at pressuring the quarterback, this is a mean defensive line, and Latu's addition could take it to the next level. Indy also locked up another couple of key defensive figures in the form of linebacker Zaire Franklin and cornerback Kenny Moore. Franklin has become a leader in the heart of the defense and has led by example, registering the second most combined tackles in the NFL since the beginning of the 2022 season. Moore is the leader in the secondary, ensuring there's experience and talent in a room that still needs further development. It is the secondary that has been the problem for Indianapolis over the last couple of years, with Ballard admitting that some of the shortfalls are a result of his decision to get younger at the position. There are obvious financial benefits that come from taking that approach, but this is the one area the Colts may be vulnerable in 2024. Get ready to see some shootouts in Lucas Oil Stadium unless Ballard can bring in a handy veteran to shore up the pass defense. He certainly has the cap space. Overall, it has been a solid offseason without many fireworks. The calm approach is a reflection of a team that is confident in what they have and feels they are ready to compete. The extensions for Pittman, Franklin, Stewart, and Moore are all smart moves to shore up the core of the team for the foreseeable future, with Laiatu Latu and Adonai Mitchell adding some exciting upside. Another smart signing arrived in the form of Joe Flacco, a reliable veteran presence in the quarterback room who proved he still has some juice for Cleveland last year. He will provide invaluable mentorship for Richardson. Everything has been well thought out in Indy, and the team appears to be ready to compete. Now, it's just a case of waiting to see if Richardson is up to the task. He has everything he needs to succeed and the right coach to guide him. So can he stay healthy and develop on the flashes of brilliance that fans were teased with in 2023? If he can, the Colts will be a serious contender in the AFC South, and potentially even more. If all goes well, there's a chance that the AFC South could very well earn the status of the toughest division in the NFL. CJ Stroud stole the show last year, and Trevor Lawrence is the latest quarterback to land a monster contract, but Richardson is the wild card with unique game-wrecking talent. It is an impressive list of quarterbacks within the division, and their battle for the AFC South title should be closer than any other division in the NFL. With all of them at a young age entering the 2024 season, this could be the start of a fascinating decade of gripping NFL rivalries. Whatever way you look at it, this is a very exciting time to be a Colts fan. It has been a painful carousel of bad quarterback play ever since Andrew Luck retired in 2019, resulting in no division wins in 10 years. The emergence of CJ Stroud in Houston and the confirmation that Lawrence will be sticking around Jacksonville may be a cause for concern, but the sheer potential of a talented Shane Steichen offense piloted by Anthony Richardson is more than enough to have any Colts fan excitedly counting down the days for Week 1. All the pieces are in place for the Colts to shock the NFL and make a run at the AFC South. The question is, can they get it done? What do you think the 2024 season holds for the Indianapolis Colts? Let us know in the comments below.